So, hi guys, we are the group 5 and our topic for today is administrative disciplinary machineries in the PNP. So, I am the first reporter and I am Catherine Joyce Esose from the school 3B-B. First is A. Citizen's complaint. Pertains to any complaint initiated by a private citizen or his duly authorized representative on account of an injury, damage, or disturbance sustained due to an irregular or illegal act committed by a member of the PNP. So, sinasabi dito na nauugnay sa anumang reklamo na pinasimulan ng isang pribadong mamamayan o ng kanyang wastong pinahintulutang kinatawan sanhi ng pinsala o kaguluhan na naranasan nila dahil sa isang hindi regular o illegal na kilos na ginawa ng isang miyembro ng pulisya. Next is the disciplinary authorities for citizens' complaint. First is the Chief of Police. Dito ay sinasabi na kung saan ang pagkakasala ay kailangang parusahan sa pamamagitan ng pag-iingat ng mga pribilehiyo, paghihigpit sa tinutukoy na mga limitasyon, suspension o pagkawala ng sweldo o anumang kombinasyon nito sa hindi lalagpas na 15 araw. Next is the city municipal mayors. Dito naman ay kung saan ang pagkakasala ay kailangang maparusahan sa pamamagitan ng pag-iingat ng mga pribilehyo, paghihigpit sa tinutukoy na mga limitasyon, suspension o pagkawala ng sweldo o anumang kombinasyon nito sa loob ng hindi kukulangin sa 16 ngunit hindi lalagpas sa 30 araw. So next is the People's Law Enforcement Board or also known as PLEB. So, dito naman ay kung saan ang pagkakasala ay kailangang parusahan sa pamamagitan ng pag-iingat ng mga pribilehiyo, paghihigpit sa tinutukoy na mga limitasyon, suspension o pagkawala ng sweldo o anumang kombinasyon nito sa lumalagpas sa 30 araw o sa pamamagitan ng pagtanggal or dismissal. So, next is letter B, breach of internal disciplines. Refers to any offense committed by a member of the PNP involving affecting or order and discipline within the police organization. So, dito guys is tumutukoy sa anumang pagkakasala na nagawa ng isang membro ng PNP na kinasasangkutan at nakakaapekto sa kaayusan at disiplina sa loob ng samahan ng PNP or pulisya. Minor offense shall refer to an act or omission not involving moral turpitude but affecting the internal discipline of the PNP and shall include but not be limited to letter A, simple misconduct or negligence, insubordination, frequent absences or tardiness, habitual drunkenness, gambling prohibited by law. So, dito sa minor offense ay tumutukoy sa isang kilos o pagkukulang na hindi kasangkot sa moral turpitude ngunit nakakaapekto sa panloob na disiplina ng PNP.
Disciplinary authorities for breach of internal discipline. So, it means any offense committed by a member of the PNP involving minor offense affecting the order and discipline within the police organization. It means these are the police who are having an offense or case according to the order of discipline. First is the Chief of Police may impose the administrative punishment of admotion or reprimand, restriction to specified limits, withholding of privilege, forfeitures of salary or suspension, or any combination of the foregoing for a period not exceeding 15 days. Provincial directors may impose the administrative punishment of admonition or reprimand, restriction to specified limits, withholding or privilege, forfeitures of salary or suspension, or any combinations of foregoing for a period of not exceeding 30 days. Regional directors may impose administrative punishment of admonition or reprimand, restriction of specified limits, withholding of privileges, forfeitures of salary or suspension, demotion, or any combination of the foregoing for a period not exceeding 60 days. PNP shall have the power to impose disciplinary punishment of dismissal from the service, suspension or forfeitures of salary, demotion, or any combinations of foregoing for a period not exceeding 180 days.
Summary dismissal powers. The NAPOLCOM, PNP chief, and regional directors have summary dismissal powers in any of the following cases. Number 1, when the charge is serious and the evidence of guilt is strong. Na when the charge is serious at may sapat na katibayan ng ebidensya. Number 2 is when the respondent is a recidivist or has been repeatedly charged and there are reasonable grounds to believe that he is guilty of charges. Na ang ibig sabihin, kapag ang respondent ay isang recidivist or paulit-ulit na na-charge at may mga dahilan upang paniwalaan na siya ay guilty. Last is when the respondent is guilty of a serious offense involving conduct unbecoming of a police officer. Kapag ang respondent ay nagkasala ng serious offense involving conduct unbecoming of a police officer. Disciplinary Appellate Boards. Disciplinary Appellate Boards is a formal administrative disciplinary appellate machinery of the National Police Commission. It's also their task to hear cases on appeal from the different disciplinary authorities in the Philippine National Police or PNP. Isa itong administratibong pagdidisiplina ng pambansang komisyon ng pulisya. Tungkulin din nilang pakinggan ang mga kaso ng apela mula sa iba't ibang otoridad ng disiplina sa Philippine National Police. Disciplinary Appellate Board are composed of the following. Una ay ang National Appellate Board. National Appellate Board shall decide cases on appeal from decisions rendered by the PNP chief and the National Internal Affairs Service. It shall be composed of the 4 regular commissioners and shall be chaired by the executive officer. Ang National Appellate Board ay ang nagpapasya ng mga kaso sa apela mula sa desisyon na naibigay ng Philippine National Police Chief at serbisyo ng National Internal Affairs Program. Ang National Appellate Board ay dapat nagko-compose ito ng 4 na regular commissioners and shall be chaired by the executive officer. Pangalawa ay ang Regional Appellate Board. Regional Appellate Board shall decide cases on appeal from decisions rendered by the Regional Director, Provincial Director, Chief of Police, the City or Municipal Mayor, or the Philippine Law Enforcement Board or PLEB. Regional Appellate Board, there shall be at least 1 Regional Appellate Board per administrative region. Sila yung mga nagpapasya ng mga kaso sa apela mula sa mga desisyon na binibigay ng mga Regional Director, Provincial Director, Chief of Police, the City or Municipal Mayor, and the PLEB. There shall be at least 1 Regional Appellate Board per administrative region in the country to be composed of a senior officer of the Regional Commission as chairman and 1 representative each from PNP and the Regional Peace and Order Council as members.
BFP, or also known the Bureau of Fire Protection. created by the virtue of 6975, initially composed of the officers and uniformed members of the BFP service of the former Integrated National Police. So BFP is responsible for ensuring public safety through prevention and or suppression of all destructive fires. Powers and function. Number 1, sinasabi dito na dapat maging responsable para sa pag-iwas at pagsugpo sa lahat ng mapanirang sunog. And number 2, maging responsable sa pagpapatupad ng Fire Code ng Pilipinas at iba pang kaugnay ng batas. And last, number 3, dapat siyasatin ng lahat ng mga sanhi ng sunog at kung kinakailangan, maghain ng mga tamang reklamo sa lungsod o taga-usig ng probinsya na mayroong jurisdiction sa kaso.
Bureau of Fire Protection. Topics: Organization and Composition and Rank Classification. Organization and Composition shall be headed by a chief with the rank of director, to be assisted by deputy chief with the rank of chief superintendent. Shall be composed of provincial offices, district offices, and city or municipal fire stations. At the provincial level, there shall be an office of the provincial fire marshal. In case of large provinces, there shall be district offices to be headed by a district fire marshal. At the city or municipal level, there shall be a fire station, each headed by a city or municipal fire marshal. It means that in every organization, there is head or the leader who leads the organization. So in BFP, we have the chief to be assisted by the chief superintendent. In provincial level, it is headed by the provincial fire marshal, and in large provinces, it is headed by district fire marshal, and in the city and municipal, it is headed by a city or municipal fire marshal. And there should be a fire station in every community for the fire suppression, emergency medical response, hazardous material response, fire prevention, and education. Having a leader in an organization leads to a well-organized group. Rank classification. Director, Chief Superintendent, Senior Superintendent, Superintendent, Chief Inspector, Senior Inspector, Inspector, Senior Fire Officer 4, Senior Fire Officer 3, Senior Fire Officer 2, Senior Fire Officer 1, Fire Officer 3, Fire Officer 2, and Fire Officer 1. That is the rank classification of BFP. So the highest rank is the director and the lowest rank is the fire officer 1. So that's the organization and composition and rank classification of BFP.
Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. Topics: Powers and functions of the BJMP, organization and composition, and rank classifications.
So, BJMP was created by virtue of RA 6975, initially composed by the officers and uniformed members of the former Jail Management and Penology Service. So, what is RA 6975? RA 6975 is the Department of Interior and Local Government of 1990. So, the BFP, BJMP, and the PNP is under the supervision of DILG, because the DILG is considered as the mother agency of BFP, BJMP, and the PNP. Powers and functions of BJMP shall exercise supervision and control over all city and municipal jails. However, the provincial jail must be supervised and controlled by the provincial governor within his jurisdiction. So, it means that all city jails and municipal jails are under the supervision of BJMP. However, the provincial jail must be under the supervision of the provincial governor. For example, here in Ilocos Norte Provincial Jail, it must be supervised and controlled by our provincial governor, Macho Marcos Manotok, because he is considered as our provincial governor, and his supervision must be only within his jurisdiction. Organization and composition shall be headed by a chief with the rank of director, to be assisted by the deputy chief with the rank of chief superintendent. Shall compose of city and municipal jails, each headed by a city or municipal jail warden. All BJMP organization must be always have a leader to maintain the orderliness of the organization, and it must be headed by a director, but if the director is not present, it is the obligation of the chief superintendent to take over his duties and responsibilities. The rank and classification of BJMP. Director down to Chief Superintendent, Senior Superintendent, Superintendent, Chief Inspector, Senior Inspector, Senior Jail Officer 4, Senior Jail Officer 3, Senior Jail Officer 2, Senior Jail Officer 1, Jail Officer 3, Jail Officer 2, and Jail Officer 1. So the director has the highest rank and the Jail Officer 1 has the lowest rank. So, that is the powers and functions, organization and composition, and the rank classification of BJMP. And we can never deny the fact that the BJMP have many lackings when it comes to their service. But even though they are facing many anomalies, I think that the BJMP are continuing to improve, and I think that they are doing their best to serve our country in a progressive way. So that ends my discussion for today, and thank you for listening and thank you for watching.
So, I will be discussing the RA 9263, RA 9592, the PPSC, and the PNPA. So, for RA 9263, it was a law for Bureau of Fire Protection and Bureau of Jail Management Penology Professionalization Act of 2004. So, it was made for the professionalization of the BFP and BJMP. So, what is RA 9592? It was an act amended the RA 9263, which amended for the provision of minimum educational qualification. So, the RA 9592 was made for meeting the general or the minimum educational qualification as stated on the RA 9263. So, yung mga qualification na nandun sa RA 9263 was dinagdagan ni RA 9592. So, for PPSC, it was Philippine Public Safety College. It is a college providing for those personnel under the BFP, BJMP to train them for giving a better or enhance their skills in providing the services on the public. So, on PNPA, the Philippine National Police Academy, it was the primary education for PPSC. So, pag nag-graduate ka ng PNPA, you're automatically be a inspector. Fire inspector, police inspector, jail inspector. So, ayan ang RA 9263, RA 9592, and PPSC and the PNPA.
How to enter the PNPA. Number 1. Submit all necessary documents. Ang ibig sabihin nito, dapat may submiti na natin lahat ang kinakailangan na dokumento upang tayo ay makapasok sa PNPA. Number 2. Take the PNPA college admission test on the scheduled date. Ang ibig sabihin naman ito, dapat tayo mag-take ng exam sa PNPA CAT na naka-schedule sa ating petsa. At pag nakapasa naman tayo, ito na ang number 3. All PNPA CAT passers automatically receive the scholarship once they completed the admission requirements of the academy. Ang ibig sabihin naman nito, ang lahat ng pumasa sa PNPA CAT ay automatikong makakatanggap ng scholarship sandaling natapos nila ang mga kinakailangan sa pagpasok ng akademya.